Hey everybody, what's going on? Servant Mike coming to you right now. What I have for you, let's just do a little quick review of the Tier 9 rank season that we just had, the Arms Race rank season. Let me tell you something. I actually enjoyed this one. Coming up right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Tier 9 rank season has come and gone with an arms race little special flavor for this season. As for the battleships, everybody saw the battleships at Tier 9 being extremely strong, and that was Missouri. Missouri was all over the place. Musashi was all over the place. These were two really good, solid boats. One little special boat that we saw that I really wasn't expecting, and that was the Freddy the Groper. That's right, Freddy the Grosser, excuse me, for all you phonetically people out there. So Freddy was ridiculously strong bow in, and you could really push when you needed to make a push to capture the middle or capture some of these other little areas. The Freddy was a very formidable foe with its hydro out there. It could dodge a lot of torpedoes that were spinning out there. We'll talk about these here in a minute. As for the rest of the battleships, you saw pretty much everything. I think I seen a few people playing the John Bart, which was very effective on the outsides, continuously moving, and trying to get these side shots. One downside I did see to the Musashi is the majority of the players played it like a Yamato, which is fine because it's the Yamato, basically, at Tier 9. It was pretty decent, Musashi. The problem I saw with a lot of the Musashi players is the ones that sat still. If you sat still in a Musashi, you were pretty much dooming yourself to eating a bunch of torpedoes and not being very effective for your teams. Other than that, everything else worked pretty well. I did see a smattering of every battleship at Tier 9, so it was a good, solid choices. So top ones that I saw, Missouri, Musashi, Freddy the Grosser. Kind of surprised, but hey, it worked. Some people ranked out in it. Let's move down into cruisers now. Cruisers, a lot of American cruisers. The Seattle I played. The Buffalo was a really good, strong with its AP. We saw a lot of Kronstadts. Kronstadts were, I think the Kronstadts suffered from the same thing the Musashi does, is that when they sat still, they became very susceptible to everything, fire and torpedoes, and pretty much everything that goes along with how to kill one of these things. St. Louis, I didn't really think St. Louis was all that effective because there was no flank this time around. Like in the previous seasons that we saw in the last Tier 10 season, Henry the Fourth went very well around the outside with help, and was able to really just bombard the outside with high powered HE, high powered AP on the broadsides of other cruisers or battleships or anything like that. They were very effective. This season, I didn't think that they were that effective. The most effective ones that I saw was the Rune was okay. I still think that surprising note on Tier 9 cruisers, the Ibuki. The Ibuki was surprisingly good. Was very stealthy, has very powerful guns, and I saw a lot of really successful Ibukis on my team, on the enemy team, that were pretty dominant over the destroyers. Like I said, the American cruisers, the Buffalo and the Seattle, were fantastic. They did a very good job holding corners, waiting for people to come around, just being a nuisance with their radar and their strong, powerful guns. The Germans not so much. Did see a few Neptunes in there. Did see a few runes here and there. How effective the runes were based on how comfortable those players were in that boat. The majority of the people that played the rune were not very comfortable in it, but I did see a couple runes do very well. They're still very tanky, although limited with that one front gun and the two back guns. They tried to get people to kite out, and if you did not buy into that kite, then the rune, how effective was it? Not really that much. All right, so let's move on for the destroyers. This is what I played. Played the Z46. I found the Z46 with a reasonable player on the Z46 was very formidable for any other person. In this ranked season of arms race, middle control of the map was crucial. Was very crucial. Now I rank them at Z46, the Jutland, and then the black, I guess. And those could go either way depending on the actual player. I saw some blacks really dominate the game. I saw some blacks not really be effective. I saw some Jutlans do very well in the games, and I saw them being not effective. I saw 46s doing very well. I did very well at it, and then there was some times that I was not effective as a destroyer. So middle control with these three boats. If you could get these three boats to perform for you that game, and the people were shooting early at what you were spotting, your boats could be very, very awesome. So middle control was the absolute key here. If you could get the control of that middle, or you could get the heal buff or the spotting buff. The spotting buff, I think the spotting buff was probably the most important, because I had times where I was a 4.6 kilometer detection in my Z46. Made it absolutely amazing. So play toward the middle buff and try to outspot these guys and shoot these guys and really devastate them. The 46, the Jutland, and the Black were the three best to do this. On the other side of that, Fletcher was very strong, as it usually. The Yugamo could have been used to be very effective. I didn't see too many Yugamos out there. If they were there, they were not anywhere near the middle of the board because of the inferior firepower. Now, that's not to say that their guns are bad. It's just the fact that they didn't really fire all that much. And by the time that you're firing off two shots, if you have something that you're fighting against the Kitakaze, which we haven't even talked about yet, Kitakaze would absolutely dominate these boats just for the sheer amount of firepower that it has. Just boom, 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 boom. So let's go ahead and talk about the Kitakaze. Kitakaze was a good mid-range backup boat. If you were playing the Kitakaze and you had a good island to sit behind and you could hump over at battleships or other cruisers, you were doing very well. It was very easy to get 150,000+ damage, get a destroyer kill, keep your star. If you lost, Kitakaze was very strong. Now let's talk about some of the people didn't really play that I was kind of surprised. Udaloy. I didn't see a whole lot of Udaloys. I saw one Tashkent, and he was doing Tashkent things on the outside and wasn't really that effective at doing what he was doing. Yes, he was setting fires, and yes, he was doing damage, but for the rest of the game, he was only doing it on one person. How effective is you doing damage on one person versus the rest of the team fighting the rest of the team? I don't find that very effective. Udaloy could have been very good. I didn't see too many of these. When I did see them, I would tell those people if they were on my team, come support me in the middle. And when I had support of an Udaloy, it was fantastic. The Udaloy absolutely dominated with its main guns as a support type ship. On its own, I didn't really find it was all that effective. So let's go in and talk about what made these boats effective in the destroyer world. Now I have more experience with the destroyers, and I'm sure somebody else is going to do a video on what made these effective in this rank season. But for me, what made these destroyers effective in this rank season was this. Number one, the amount of firepower versus the amount of detection. Jutland was tops. The Black was very, very strong. The Z46, it was, a little bit higher in the detection, but those AP rounds that you could slam into the side of the other DDs, 4,000 or 5,000, you could get on the Jutland. So why would you play one over the other? It became a personal preference. I know the very last day we won 7 games in a row to rank out, and just like that, because we were being very effective with our AP. We were making the right shots. We were in the right positions. Overall, after going back and looking at this season and seeing the top pick, Musashi was the top pick. I thought it could have been the most effective with just those potential lull pins to absolutely dominate. As for cruisers, I would have to split it between Kronstadt and something I never thought I would say, the Ibuki. Those two I think were the top cruisers in my opinion. And then for the destroyers, the very top pick was the Jutland #1, then the Black, and then the 46. I chose the 46, and we ranked out on it. So overall, I think this season was fantastic. I do like to see something different when it comes to rank season, because everybody knows the rank season can become a slog. It can become a very boring play style and I don't say boring, but very frustrating play when everybody's sitting behind islands. There's one kill and nobody's doing what they're supposed to do. And then this is where all the salt comes from. This is where all the frustration of rank season comes from. This is why a lot of people hate rank season, because of that frustration. I have always said that ranked season is never a test of skill. I'm going to caveat this by saying it's a little bit of test of skill because you still have to play good. On the other side of it is a test of patience of how many bad teams can you get, how many games can you play with these bad teams to finally get enough in a row that you can actually make some headway or even rank out. Who knows? That's up to you guys. That's all on you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the ranked season here. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what they do with the next ranked season. I'm Sir Venom IK. This has been a ranked review. I love you boys. Salutes, my friends.